Welcome back, ladies and gents, to part 2 of this series looking at Plini's song Kind. For part 7, we are back to cleans. You can either pick it with these 3 fingers, finger picking, as Plini does in his playthrough video, but I like to just hold the pick away and just pick it with, starting with my index finger, and so these 3 fingers. So the strings that you're going to need to play for this little section is only the D, G, and B string. Okay, we're going to be playing chords all around. We're starting off with open note D, 6 barring G and B string, and we're going to hammer on that last B to 7. Okay, so that's the first one. We shift lower onto the fretboard. That's 2, 4, 5, index, ring, and pinky. Then we're shifting a ring finger, D string 4, index finger, G string 2, and open note G. So far. Then we're shifting higher on the fretboard. We have a little bit of a yoga stretch here. That's pinky, 9th string, D string, index finger 5 on the G, and B string, middle finger 7. And then bar 7, play D, G, and B. And then add 10 on the B. Now to the next section. We're going to be playing 12 with our middle finger, and then barring, that's 12 on the D, and then barring 11 with our index finger, G and B. And we're going to hammer on 12 on the B with our ring finger. Okay, so after that we continue on to the next chord. Same pattern as at the beginning. That's index finger, D string 7, 9 on the G string, ring finger, and pinky 10, B string. Shift lower onto the fretboard, 6, 6, 7, barring with our index finger, adding 7 to the D, barring 6 again, adding pinky 7 on the B, and then same pattern, 2 frets down, 4, 4, 7. In part 8, we're going to be taking it easy on the leads. Starting off on the G string, hammer on 9 to 11, and then pull off from 11 to 9. From there we're going to pick 9, slide to 6, and then from the 6 we're going to add a little mini bend before sliding further to 4. Take a look. Bend, release. Then pick 2. We're going to go all the way up to the E string, hammer on 3 to 5. We're going to go higher up on the fretboard, hammer on 5 to 7, go back to 5, hammer on 5 to 7 on the B string, back to 5, slide onto the 6 G, slide onto the 4 G string, and then slide to 7 on the B string. Okay, for the next part of this lesson, we're going to be actually repeating a pattern that we learned in the previous video, which is part 1 of this video series. You can take a look at the lick at part 5 of the whole lesson, and that's the lick that we're repeating. Of course, that same tab is going to be displayed right here. So we're repeating the pattern, you know how it goes. And from here, there's only one new change. Just add one note, slide to 7 on the D. And for the next pattern, that's where there is a fair amount of change. The vibe of the lick stays the same with string skipping and legato, but the notes change a little bit. Take a look. So we're starting off on the E string, hammer on from 11, 12, 14. Palm muted. We're going to string skip the A string, go on to the D, same notes, hammer on. Then we're going to shift to the B string, string skipping the G, index finger on the 10, hammer on 12 with our middle finger, and then with our ring finger pick 12 on high E. From there we're going to legato back downwards, pulling off from 12 to 10 on the B. Moving to 14 with our pinky on the G, pull off to 11. From there we're doing the same pattern on the D string. Then we're going to play 14 on the A string, go back to the D string 11, and then twice 14. Then we have a sweep picking pattern with legato at the end. We're going to be sweeping from the 9th fret on the G string with our pinky. That's sweeping, palm muted, 9, 7, 5, hammer on to 9, pull off back to 5, go back upwards, sweep picking, 7, 9, and then pull off from 9 to 6 on that same string. And then on the D string, same pattern. And then play 4 on the D. Slowly. Very simple. You're going to be playing 14. You start on the 14 with a slide. So that's 13. I'm only going to tell you the notes. From there you just have to alternate pick those notes and go along with the rhythm. So that's 14, 13, 14, 9, and then slide all the way to 2, then 4, and then you have this little lick. That's a legato, low E string 4-7, A string 4-7, D string 4-7, G string 4-6, pull off the 4 and then 7 on the D. Then go back, repeat the pattern. That's a slide to 6 and then back to 4 on the G. Okay, so Now we're getting into the climax of the song, rhythmically speaking. We're going to start first with the following chord, barring the 2nd fret on the G and B string, adding 5 with our pinky. Then we're going to play the lower notes. You can either play just the low E string or you can play the low E and A twice. Go back to the chord. This time we're playing the notes on the lower strings 3 times. Then we're moving higher up on the fretboard. Barring 9 on the D and G, we're going to hammer on from D and G 9 to D and G 11. Then go back to 9, 9, D and G. Go 1 string upwards, that's A and D, pull off 11 on A and D to 9, sorry, on A and D. Then you're shifting upwards again, just a little bit. Open note, D string, then 12, 4. String skip the G, go onto the B string. Open note, 14. Open note, 17. Then you go back onto the lower frets. You're going to play 3 on the low E. String skip the A, go onto the D string, 6. Go back to the low E, 3, 4. 7 on the D. Back to 4 on the low E. Scratch, rake the strings twice. And then play the following notes. That's A string, 4, and D string 6. Slide over to 2 and 4, 2 fretboards below, and then play open note, E, A, and the chords, little power chord, 2 and 4. Okay, for the next little segment that is right smack in the middle of the riff, you're playing harmonics on the 5th fret and 12th fret. To be quite honest, I can't really do it properly. Probably has to do with my technique, but also the tone that I'm using doesn't lend itself very, very well to harmonics. But mostly I probably just suck. But what I believe he is playing, you're going to be playing harmonics on the 5th fret A, and then harmonics on the G, B, and E, all finger picked. And then you shift quickly to 12, play harmonics on the A string and the harmonics on the B and E string. I hope you have much better luck than I have playing that part. Alright, let's move on. Okay, so we're back at the chord 225. Low string, open note E and A, or just E. Then you're going to play the following little lick. That's hammer on 4 to 7 on the A string. Play twice 4 on the D, then 7 on the D, and then you're going to go to the G string 4. Then play G string 4 again. Play 7 on the D, 6 and 4. You're going to repeat the same riff section as in the beginning. From there, you're going to pull off another sweet lick. That's, I'll show you first. Okay, so that's starting on the 9 on the D string. Then you're going to string skip G and B, head on directly to 7 on the E. With your middle finger, start off on the 9B, ring finger 10, B string. Then index finger 7, hammer on 12 on the E. tap 17. Then you're going to go to 15 on the low E. It's the same pattern as here. So that's 15 on the low E. 18 on the D. Back to low E 17, 16. Moving on to a little legato. That's 9 on the D. Hammer on, pull off 11. So that's 9, 11, 9, pull off the 7. That's all on the D string. Then move on to the A string. 9, pull off 7. And then for the last bit, we're going to be playing 4, 6, D and G string, slide to 7, 9 on the D and G string. And then play low E and A along with the chord. And to top it off, that's barring 12 B and E, letting it ring, adding your ring finger to 14 on the G, and then shifting from 14 on the G to 13 with your middle finger, and letting it all ring. It's time for the last part of this series for kind, the last lead section that you have to know in order to play the whole song. Okay, we're starting off on the A string, 4-5, palm muted. Then we're going to jump to the D string. We're going to also palm mute the notes on that D string. That's first 4, open note, 6, open note, 7, open note. Then we're going to go to the G string. You're going to stop palm muting, hammer on 4 to 6, and then pull off 6 to 4. Then you're going to move on with your pinky to the 7th fret D string, 4 on the G, and then 7, 4, 7 on the D. So far we have okay, we're going to continue with the sequence. We're going to start on the D string, 6, 7, palm muted. Then we're going to continue to the D string 6, and then open note B. 5, open note, 7, open note. The next part is a little tricky. You're going to speed it up slightly for a quick little legato from 9 to 10 back to 9, and then pull off to open note. That would look like this. So after that first sequence, okay, then you're going to pick 7, hammer on to 9, pull off from that 9 to open note, and then move on lower to the fretboard 2, slide to 5 on the B string. Pull off 6 to 4 on the G, and then hammer on 2 to 4 on the G. Then we're going to move on lower to the fretboard, lower strings. That's 2, 4, 2 on the A, open note A, 2, open note, and then low E4, and then open note A. For the next and final section, We're going to repeat some of the same patterns, but we're switching it up in the middle and ending on the familiar lick. So we're starting with the familiar pattern. That's starting 4-5 on the A string. Now instead of going to 4 hammer on 6, we're going to actually go from 6 to 9. That's hammer on 6 to 9, pick 9. Then we're going to perform a legato on the B string, 5, 7, 9, E string, 5, 7, 9, and then 9 on the B. Let's take a look so far. And then we end on a familiar pattern, 12, 14 on the high E, legato, from the B string, pull off 14, 12, pull off on the G string, 14, 11, pick 14 on the D, slide to 11 on the G, hammer on pull off 11, 14, then we're going to slide into 14 on the B, go slide to 12, pick 12, and then pick 17, slide away. Now in this last part he is using a whammy bar on some of the notes, but I do not have a whammy bar, so sadly I can't really show you guys that. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. If you want to stick around for more, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you all again on the next video.